Right, welcome everybody to another episode of Chris and Dave's Reality Cast. I'm one of your hosts, Chris Phelps, and my co-host and very good friend is Mr. Dave Horrocks.
Hey there, Chris. It is finally here. The Bachelorette, episode 6. This is what I was expecting. A bit of, bit of testosterone fueled man infighting and stuff. Where do you want to start today?
Well, Dave, I've got to say, just before we start, I'm with you. I didn't think we'd have a void filled. The Claire-like void that was left last week was just, I thought, there's no way. Tayshia's so nice, it's not going to happen. But Dave, a load of fucking jabronis stepped up and all the guys decided, you know what? We're just going to be a load of cocks, literally. And it was great. I mean, I think Bennett made me laugh at the start, Dave, because he was talking about I'd been to Harvard, he'd done this, he couldn't even spell fucking limousine. You know what I mean? It
Hey,
was just like,
would you have put the U in there?
yeah, I
I
know spell
I
limousine, Dave.
I
Yeah.
probably would have missed out the U, quite honestly.
No,
I
I
felt
mean,
sorry for him because everyone was like, he couldn't do maths, he couldn't spell.
the fuck did he do when he was
Well,
at fucking
here's the
Harvard?
thing, he probably did, like, business studies or something like that, doesn't he? Just because he went to Harvard doesn't
No,
mean he's good at everything. So I
yeah,
guess I felt more sorry for him, to be honest.
yeah, but Dave, when you say Harvard, he might have worked in the fucking kitchens or something. He didn't specify what he'd actually done, but I do think it was a little bit interesting because Bennett's been this cool, calm, collected guy. I know we ripped into Dale when they did that comedy sketch thing and a bit of personality. He's a Clark Kent wannabe, good-looking guy, the full chiseled looks, everything. And he's been dead cool. And it was quite interesting to see the vulnerability of him. But fucking Chasen was giving him shit, about the way he just swooped in. But he was like, I didn't think Bennett did a lot wrong, but I didn't warm to him like I have done in this episode. But I'm obviously, Dave, the whole date thing, we're not getting in the bed thing again.
With Bennett. I mean, you skipped
Oh,
over the whole tug-of-war thing there because
oh, sorry, yeah.
this uh, obviously, Chasen and Edd was a big feature of today, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And it all started, you got Ed, and I think it was Ben that he was up against. Now, these are all strapping blokes, aren't they? They've all spent plenty of time down the gym. They're all pretty ripped. But Chasen called out that Ed has chicken legs. and I got to say, Chris, considering his top half, he is built like the fucking Hulk, innit? But his bottom half does look like he skips leg day quite often. And Ed, poor Ed, I mean, he just got mullered in that tug of war challenge. And so,
Yeah, he did.
but I thought it was a bit out of order calling him out for his chicken legs. Straight off the bat, to me, that was a little indication that, Chasen's a bit of a bully, I think.
Yeah, and Dave, how many times do we need to say smoke show and I'm the Wolverine? If you're telling people you're the Wolverine, Dave,
Y-
you get flopped in one
Yeah.
little jab, won't you? Let's be honest. I don't care what you say. If you've got to tell people how tough you are, the tough guys don't say anything, Dave. They're the quiet ones, not the ones who brag about it. And Jason, I thought Ed and Chasen were both a pair of cocks in this
Yeah.
episode. At different points. At one point, I was a bit for Chasen because I've not liked him, and I thought he's a bit like he's a Ken doll, isn't he? Ken and Barbie. But then I thought Ed was just being completely malicious, Dave, at times, and just he went beyond standing up for it. I don't understand what his point was. He's obviously jealous of him. He's a threat. But again, when they were butting heads, it was embarrassing, wasn't it? It's
Yeah.
like Ed's going, I'm 36 years old. It's like, mate, you're acting like a dickhead. You're acting as if you're about 10.
Yeah.
And Chasing again, Dave, he was going on like he was some tough guy. And I'm thinking, these guys in there who would kick the shit out of you. And honestly, Dave, we love comic book stuff. And I love Wolverine and you love Wolverine. And Dave, you got a Wolverine tattoo, if you don't mind me saying. You love the guy, don't you?
Oh,
You
yeah,
know what I
yeah.
mean? You know what I mean? So we both love a bit of Wolverine at the cartoons, the comics, you especially. You don't go around saying you're fucking the Wolverine. And he kept saying it. And I'm like, please stop. Just say smoke show. That's even worse. But
Oh
just
my
keep
God.
saying it.
Well, I mean, the Wolverine thing, it's like when I say, Chris, isn't it? If you have to say, like, I'm funny, that's I'm so funny or something like that, probably means you're not that funny.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
you don't decide if you're funny. Other people decide if you're funny. But yeah, he kept going on about the old Wolverine thing. I do think he is a bit of a bully boy. That smoke show, I've never heard that before. I had to look it up.
I have,
basically
yeah.
means, someone's smoking hot, but I just sounds off to me. It doesn't sound that complimentary. Um, and when he was, butting heads with Ed, if someone sat down and you're towering over them, that is an intimidating thing to do. You're trying to bully someone. You're trying to be intimidating to them. So I just think he was overstepping the mark there. But I think he's been bullied at school. I think he's probably had a hard time at school with bullies and stuff. And, in his adult life, he's been in the gym, he's pumped out, making sure he's got the big arms, big chest and stuff. But I think, it brings back a lot of these memories for him. And that's why he's like, he just won't let it go. He's
No.
just, and to be fair, when Jason asked him, like, did you discuss anything with Tayshia? It's like, yeah, I basically told him told her you were completely fake, and so he doesn't
You'll have for
lie.
Instagram followers, yeah.
You just have to grow in your social media following. So
Fucking
fair
brilliant.
play
That's
to him,
brilliant.
but
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
particularly when it was the two of them, arguing. I mean, I'd have been tempted to just say, look, you don't like me, I don't like you. Let's just make the best of it. We won't interact, but let's not ruin everyone else's night. Because I think the way it came across to me, they were just completely oblivious to everyone else. And the fact that,
Yeah.
when you have two people like that just making the atmosphere and dragging it down for everyone, it's just shit, isn't it? And I think as well, the fact that Ed, I was surprised he got a rose, because all right, he may even have a point about Chasen, and I don't particularly like him. Like I say, more because I think he's a bully, not because I've got a clue what his actual real intentions are. But every time he spoke to Tayshia, it was about Chasen. And
Yeah.
it's like, and particularly when he was going on about how he was stood over me, and it's like he was telling on him, it's like he was snitching on Chasen, and I just thought, come on, dude, it's not particularly attractive quality in a bloke, I don't think.
No, and you know what, Dave? Just to quickly go back on something. When you say about Smoke Show, when I sat with Sam and we're watching it, and she said to me, she went, what's he fucking saying here? Like, what? She thought it was a derogatory term. Now, I've listened to a lot of American podcasts, and I did love for a long time The Fighter and the Kid, which is a guy called Brian Callen and Brendan Schaub, a ex-UFC fighter. And, I've seen them live and all that. I've gone right off that podcast, actually, to be honest, the llast few months. There's been a few things happen behind the scenes. However, they speak, and Brendan Schaub says Smoke Show all the time, Dave. So I've listened to that podcast for 4 or 5 years, and he literally says it about any girl who he thinks is good looking or attractive. So I'm used to that in my subconscious. So when he was saying it, but I don't even think on the fucking podcast he said it as often as what he was saying it through the episode. He just said, and then Sam even said to me, "Are you sure they're not just editing in the same bit when he's going, she's a Smoke Show, I'm Wolverine?" And I went, "No, I don't think so. He's got different clothes on at different points." But I do think I just didn't. By the end of the episode, I didn't care for either of them. At first, I thought Jason was being an absolute bellend and a complete dick, which he was. And I thought Ed had a great thing. And you're right, when he stood over him, he had the baby. I mean, Ed has obviously been bullied because when he said to him, "I've got a baby here," he's like, "Ed, it's not fucking real, baby. what are you what are you saying? It's not going to protect you if he throws a punch." But
He could have done with
I
the
don't
baby
agree with that.
after in the wrestling,
Yeah,
couldn't he?
yeah,
So
exactly. But again, he had Dave the male version of a resting bitch face, didn't he? Because his fucking face was like thunder. And I didn't get why everyone was saying about Chase, like, oh yeah. And one of the guys even said, which I thought was disrespectful to Ed, was he went, "Oh, he's just got fake muscles, and or gym muscles or something." He
glam
said,
muscle.
"Glam muscles, yeah,
Yeah, I think it
something
was
like
glam
that."
muscles.
But
Yeah,
it's like, well, it's not about that. Some of the guys are ex-professional American footballers and that they're proper athletes, and I just find it. It was just by the end of it, I was like, you know what? You're both a pair of dicks, and both of you are not going to get with Tayshia. Why she picked both of them, I do not know. But I will say, Dave, when they did the fucking wrestling match, it was amazing. And he bottled it, Ed. I mean, now come on. He's a big lad. Even Chris Harrison said to him, didn't he? He went, "You're an absolute unit, aren't you? You're a big guy. What's up with you?" I've got a bad shoulder and I've got... And You're right, Dave. If you read more into it, we can rip the piss out of him and go, what's he doing? He should have been in there. However, if he's had some trauma when he's a kid of someone doing that to him and humiliating him, you've got to respect him for just saying, you know what, I don't give a shit. We all know what happened to Marty McFly, Dave, don't we? Before he, with the Rolls Royce and stuff in Back to the Future. So that's a bad one. The
What?
ego cost him when he couldn't play the guitar. Dave, when Needles kept calling him a chicken, every time he got called a chicken in Back to the Future,
Oh
his
my God,
ego
that
got
is
him
a
in
stretch,
trouble.
that one. So I just thought,
Even you were speechless at that
yeah,
one.
I just thought, again, he's been in the gym. He wants Ed. I'm talking about now. Sorry, he
Yeah,
wants to look intimidating. You know, he's got issues there. But I think as well, the producers were fucking with him a bit there, weren't they? Because they'd
yeah,
have seen what would have happened all the previous day and stuff. This is bubbling up. They're fucking interviewing him, and he's saying, he's gonna have to be carried off and put in an ice bath kind of thing. So they're doing that, and then they're having these wrestling matches, and some of them got a bit tasty, didn't they? I mean, let me see. You had first up, you had Easy against Joe, and Easy won that one. You had Brendan versus Jordan. Jordan had a great takedown, but injured himself a little bit there. You had Spencer and Ben. That was pretty fucking heated. That ended up in a
yeah.
draw, and they were proper throwing each other around. All this time, Ed is sat there watching it, and like I say, to get muscles like that, you have to lift pretty heavy, don't you? You can't just fluff your muscles up. You have to lift pretty fucking heavy. Not that kind of fluffing.
The way you were going, Dave.
So he's strong, but he probably hasn't done any kind of boxing, wrestling, or anything like that. Whereas Chase, and I imagine in a lot of the high schools in the US, they do wrestling, don't they?
Yeah,
And you could
yeah.
tell he was bang up for it. And even when old fucking Noah jumped in, that match was pretty tasty. So you could tell while watching all of those previous matches, Ed's arse was properly fucking going. Or else, why else would he wait until it's his turn? Unless it's, the producers and the editors fucking with us a bit. Maybe he did that right at the start. But it didn't look like it, did it? So
No, no, no. Dave, sorry, go on. Sorry.
yeah, it's just one of those. I'm disappointed because when he took his shirt off and you saw the size of him, I was waiting for this fucking chase and yeah, I'm the fucking Wolverine. I thought Ed was gonna fucking drop him.
I did. I thought he had traps on traps. He had
Yeah,
the proper like the proper Tom Hardy traps out of Warrior and that,
yeah,
didn't he? The
yeah.
Bane traps. He was a big lad, and I was the same. I've got to give Ed though funny what he said to fucking Chase and Dick when he said, "Take your medium shirt and sit down," and
Yeah.
fucking Chase went, "It's a large." Just like, does it fucking matter? He's just put you down. But I do think the guys later on, Bennett, Ed, and some of the others, they were taking the piss out of Chasing Dave, but it was verging slightly on bullying, if that makes sense. Not too much. I don't know if you picked up on that. I wasn't dead uncomfortable. I'm thinking, lads, just we get it. You're having
Yeah.
a pop at him. Let him deal with Ed, and let them be a pair of idiots. You concentrate on Tayshia, and that's it. Because I just think it was great for drama. I mean, Dave, fucking hell, we wasted like 15 minutes to talk about these two jokers, and that's exactly what we wanted. Some proper drama after Claire goes. But I think by the end of it, it's like, I think that sale is gone. It's just bemusing that one of them didn't leave. I really, really, really shocked me that.
Yeah. I don't know if it was on the borderline of bullying when it came to chasing. I think a few of them were taking the piss, but like Bennett was taking the piss as well. But earlier in the episode, Jason had called him out for being cringy when he sat there with his robe on and stuff. And obviously, for the breakfast sort of challenge, Bennett put the robe on, climbed into bed with her, made it quite intimate, and got the diploma. So he's feeling pretty chuffed about himself. But Chasen was pretty pissed off about it, wasn't it? And he let Bennett know. So if you carry on making enemies of everyone, then yeah, you're probably gonna, what goes around comes around, doesn't it? So I don't know. I didn't see it as bullying, more just bit of karma.
Yeah, it could be, Dave. It could be like I say. By the end of it, I just really didn't care, and you're probably right. I will say though, Dave, the guys, every one of them looked amazing with the tops off, didn't they, Dave? I'm sat there holding my stomach in, and watching it, like, oh my god, these guys look absolutely on the money, don't they? All
Yeah.
look like models, every one of them. And I mean, what are your feelings on Tayshia, Dave? Because I think she's a good girl. And I mean, I like the wrestling angle. Obviously, they did it on. They had Lita there, who's ex WWE Women's Champion. She used to be with the Hardy Boys, and it might mean nothing to you, Dave, but she's a massive Hall of Famer with the wrestling. And the other girl's a UFC fighter. I've seen her fight in the UFC. I was quite interested in the way they did all that. But I think Tayshia, Dave, she don't stand any messing. And I
Mm.
did like the little promo we got on next week where she's not going to stand for this shit that's going on with the guys because I just think it's brilliant to watch. But I don't think at the moment there's anybody standing out that's making a play for her, Dave. I think the hangover of Claire and people being involved, like Riley and that were involved today and people like that, they were just like in the background, weren't they? And these new guys have come to the front and sort of taken centre stage, which is what we wanted because we're going a bit stale with Claire. But I'm just not working out what's going on. I don't think she's going to get with anybody at the moment.
Yeah, I think I quite like her approach to a couple of things. I agree. I don't think she's going to take any shit. She seems a lot, genuinely, a lot stronger person to me. You know, that's how she comes
Yeah,
across. But like when in that first dinner, I think it was Bennett. He said, you know, can I just grab you for 2 minutes? And she said, well, can I speak to everyone first? You know,
yeah,
compare that to like fucking Claire and Dale. Dale's like, "Gonna grab you for 2 minutes." Yep, let's go. You know, so I thought it was interesting to have almost the mirror event happen, and for Tayshia to just be respectful of the whole group. So I thought that was interesting. But when so we talked a bit about the wrestling and old Noah with that slug on his lip, slug on his top lip. When he jumped the fence, you know the guys are pretty pissed off at him. But and it ended up that Noah took. He actually got two bites of the cherry, didn't he? Because he had an initial chat with her, then he went off, got his razor, and got her to shave his tash off. So Ben's there being respectful to everyone, and he ends up with no time. And you know, he calls it out. He says, "I've not had time," and she's like, "Well, it's the end of the evening. That's it."
yeah,
What did
yeah.
you make of that actually? Because I thought it showed her to be strong, but you know, there's other things that I think about that as well. I just want to know what you think.
The one thing I think with the situation with Noah, Dave, is that moustache thing was a setup from the minute he came in. Before he came in, he probably had a beard or something. And the producer said to him, you know what? Come in. Why don't you have a moustache? Because Sam even said to me, is he doing Movember or something? You know, because
Yeah.
obviously, I don't know whether they do it in America, but they do it over here. I think they do actually, but I've seen some of the UFC commentators with him on this weekend. You grow the moustache and raise money for cancer or a charity, your choice, Dave. I've done it myself a few years ago for someone at work who was going through it. We all did it, all the lads. So some son said to me, is he fucking doing this for a bet or something? Because he just looked really, really strange. It looks like when you watch one of them movies that's set in the 70s, but he's made now, and someone grows a moustache and it looks ridiculous. Because I thought that whole thing was a setup. The whole thing was a setup for her to shave that moustache off. It was too obvious, Dave, for me. I just felt that whole thing was bullshit. I mean, I'm not saying Tayshia was in on it. She may not have known that. They might have prompted her and gone, oh, hang on, here's a set of clippers. But I think the intentions of him having a moustache and coming in looking like he's had some 70s cop, Dave, from fucking Chips or something, was just too obvious for me. That my bullshitter meter was fucking going off the charts at that point.
Do you reckon? Because I'm
Yeah.
thinking. Do you remember Dewey in Scream? I mean, he
Yeah.
grew
Yeah.
himself a little tash just to make himself look a bit older, didn't he? I remember going on a stag do years ago, and I thought, oh, I need to make myself look a bit older. So I grew a tash. And it's in retrospect, it's like, that was a fucking terrible choice. But so I think people do it, and then, you know, you sort of realise after, you're like, oh, yeah, I look like a bit of a bellend there. I do have to say, I mean, Noah, he does genuinely, I think, look 10 times better looking without the tash.
Oh, easy. Yeah, he's a good looking lad, Dave.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but with the tash, he just looks like a bit of a bellend.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
looked.
Hey, look. But Dave, I mean, it is what the show's about, innit? We were dying out for this. We were both skeptical that the week after Claire we wouldn't get it, and we've got it. And I love reading the Facebook page, Dave. You know, good old Charlene's the first one to comment on there, Dave, isn't she? She gives her full dissection of the episode and everything. It's brilliant, and I can't wait to get on there and talk to everybody who's watched the show, what their thoughts are in it all.
Yeah, and just what I want to say about that thing with Ben, because I thought earlier in the episode, I thought Ben had some good chemistry with Tayshia. I actually think there's a few blokes that she's got good chemistry with, but I said to you last week, about that whole thing about the bromances going on there and, play the game, be respectful and what have you. And I said at the time, it was like, well, how's that working out for you? Remember the old Mr. Plow thing? So, I think the fact that I can see, honestly, Chris, if that was me, I would probably be doing exactly what Ben would be doing. I'd be respectful to everyone else, but at the end of the day, he didn't even get a shot at the rose. And so he must have been kicking himself after that to think, you know what, you've got Noah who just muscled himself in. He not only gets himself onto the date, he gets the fucking rose as well. So, especially after what's happened, with Claire and everything, if anything, that's got to put a rocket up some of the guys' arses to say, look, there are rules, but then, you can't be fucking standing in line. You've got to go and take the bull by the horns.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously with the VT for next week, no one seems to get the shit, doesn't he, Dave? The lads are going it in now, so I don't know. I can't wait, actually. I'll be honest with you, Dave. I'm like, oh, fucking hell. Why isn't this a binge watch? Not every week, you bastards. Because you sort of forget, you watch it, you remember some bits. We catch up on the social media stuff. You see little things going on, little snippets and things of fallout, some of the real insider stuff that, is it true or not? But it gets you. Me and you have sent messages to each other, and you're like, oh, is that real or is that not? And sometimes it's not, but it adds to the whole drama of The Bachelor and The Bachelorette. So I think next week, maybe that's why Tayshia steps in because of the way they're treating Noah. I think she's got a soft spot for Noah. And look, he's done nothing wrong. He's 25 years old. He's a young kid. The guys are all. I think some of the guys are too fucking serious, if I'm being honest, Dave. You know what I mean? They just
Yeah.
they're walking around like they fucking shit themselves. They're like fucking. They've got a thing up the back, a fucking coat hanger or something, aren't they? They're just too stiff for me, right? Boring fuckers, some of them.
You know what I thought as well? One of the things that about this show is just that how everyone calls each other out for not being there for the right reasons. You're here just to grow your own platform, your own social media following, to get a bit of fame and whatever. Everyone's calling everyone else out for it, and they're not there for the right reasons. Can I just call it, Chris? All of those twats are there for the fucking wrong reasons, right? Every single fucking one of them, right? You really want to just meet someone, go on a fucking dating site, line up 10 dates, and then I'm sure one or two, you might have some chemistry and take it from there. You don't have to fucking go on The Bachelor. So just own it.
Yeah.
They're all there for a bit of, their own little slice of fame.
Dave, you would be if we were single and you had that sort of chance in the UK. And I know they've done The Bachelor in the UK a couple of times, but it's not a massive show, is it? Like it is in America. It certainly isn't a phenomenon. We've said that Love Island is the one at the moment in the UK, and you've got other ones in the background that are not too bad. But Love Island is the pinnacle of reality TV in the UK. The Bachelor, if we were single, Dave, knowing you're going to be on TV, even if it's to say to your nan, your mum, your uncle, your kids, whoever, I'm on the TV, your mates, full well you're going to get WhatsApp groups of your mates ripping you and stuff, Dave, if you're on TV. That's why you're going to do it. You're going to have a long lasting memory. Like you said, when Claire was on, and then Tayshia comes on, and it's like they've signed up for the Bachelorette. They don't know who that is at first, and then they knew it was Claire and all that stuff. It's all bollocks, isn't it? It's about what it is. You've got to be real on these things. There's no point in lying. And like what happened with Claire, and I'm sorry to keep bringing her up, but when she said, like, I thought this is going to be it. And it's like, but you've had about 5 fucking goes at the cherry. You're just interested in being on TV. Yeah, you found Dale, and I still think it's all fake, but they're together. All the social media stuff looks like they're together. They'll get the fucking OK Magazine deal and ride off into the sunset, and we'll probably break up fucking 2 months later. But that's what we've been made to believe, Dave. TV is an absolute farce. I've said it before. Reality TV is the biggest it's worse than a soap opera. At least on a soap opera, you know that you're getting people acting. In these fucking shows, they're acting, but they're acting real, and it's fucking worse sometimes. It's great for us to watch. That's why we're here. But yeah, I don't buy any of it. I just love watching it, and I love how desperate some of the people, especially the guys on this, are fucking desperados. All these
Yeah,
really are.
I was gonna say, but we love it. We love it, don't we?
We love it.
But
Yeah, I'm not fucking sitting on it. I
we'll
love
just
it.
say that. So Lauren had sent through a screenshot. So old Chasen, you can see on his Instagram, he's got a little sponsored uh, picture. So you know when you can pay money, can't you, to get you on more people's feeds and stuff to try and grow your following. So people were having a bit of a laugh at him there. So you know, again, I think Ed's probably called it there, called it right. But again,
Yeah.
I think they're all after the same thing. So you know, to call one person out over someone else probably is just a bit, you know, it's a bit mistaken there. I think.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, guys, as we always say, get over to our Facebook page. If you agree or disagree with me and Dave, just get over there and comment. I've loved some of the interactions we have. Everyone's so nice over there, Dave, and it's just all good fun talking and speculating about the show. And as always, if you want to email us, cdrealitycast@gmail.com, and give us a follow on Instagram and Twitter at cdrealitycast as well, because at the end of the day, Dave, we're all fans of this genre of TV shows, the reality stuff, and that's what we're here for. We absolutely love it. So yeah, I really, really love the fact we've got some great people following the show and watching it.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely awesome, mate. And I was just wondering there. So if you were about to get into the wrestling ring, because 2020, Chris, was supposed to be your year. You were gonna get into the wrestling ring, weren't you? With old
Yes, I
John,
was.
with old John Bull, there was a bit of media,
Yeah,
social media back and forth, and so you were gonna go
yeah.
into training. So did you decide on what was your kind of ring name gonna be? And don't say something like
Hulk
fucking
Hogan.
Macho
No,
Man
no,
Randy
no.
Savage or something. Go on, did you make
It
one
was
up?
going to be. I did have a name, Dave. It was Rocky Rainey. Now, Rainey's my mum's maiden name, and Rocky's the first dog. It's supposed to be my porn star name as well, Dave, because Rocky, that's what it was. But Rocky Rainey, Dave, yeah. I just think that's pretty terrible. But anyway, I would have got absolutely mullered. Scott is a veteran, Dave, and he was going to absolutely nail me to the post. So, yeah.
So you got off lightly there. I
Yeah,
didn't know you had
definitely.
a background as well in weaponized viruses.
It's a small weapon, Dave, don't worry.
The lengths you go to get out of this fucking wrestling match.
Right, and on that bombshell, Dave.
I'll see you next time.
Bye.